and good morning. I think I'm live. There's lots of buttons, lots of screens. So as you can see, I'm in the wonderful Colchester. I hope you can hear me okay. I hope sound's all right. Not sure if the comments will automatically pop up, but if you could let me know if everything's working. Here we go. Oh, big screen for comments. Okay, so that seems good. Let me know if the sound's okay and we are live. Don't know if you can see, she's hiding in the corner, but I'm at Kitty's house. I've got a doggo in the window. Like, it's raining, it's miserable, but we've had a very lovely and very busy, productive weekend, putting together lots of different projects for everything from our lives that we do weekly. We've got BeadClub ideas together. We might have a festive project coming up, but you'll have to wait to find out about that one. So I'm hoping if someone can just drop me a little comment, and then I'll know that I've got people, I can see people are watching. But today I know it's just down on the mat. I don't know whether you can see me in the little corner. I'm going to be making these lovely little little planets with you today. So they're little planet pendants, or you could have them as earrings. Easily you can just attach them onto a chain, or you can attach them onto a little ear wire. They're very, very lovely. They come in a whole host of beautifully different coloured gemstones, so I'll show you the website for that now. You only need 1 gauge of wire, which is the 0.8 that I'm using today, and you're only going to need about 30 centimetres of that in total. We've also got these gorgeous little clear quartz crystals, which are faceted. They're really, really, really beautiful. And if you wanted to, if you've got like a tiny little star charm or a little spacer bead, you could add that on there as well, and that could be like the moon. There you all are. Hello, Mina says good morning, Natalie and everyone. Good morning to Camille, hello to Carol, and good morning to Sue. So that makes me feel a little bit better that it's all working and we're all good to go. So hello Angela, I hope you're well. I will try and take you over to the website. Okay, so the volume is very low, I'm being told by Judith. If I speak a little bit louder, and that's probably as much as I can do because of all the buttons, so unless Kitty could possibly come in and maybe slide that. I don't want to touch anything in case I make a big mistake. Kitty? Some people are saying they are struggling to hear. If I touch this.
No, that's fine. Nothing.
Okay. So what I will do is I'll take you over to the website and I will show you what it is that we are making, and you can have a little look at our kits.
Just go ahead and I'll tweak the mic.
Kitty's going to have a fiddle with some buttons, and hopefully you'll be able to hear us.
How about now?
Is this any better? Angela's saying hello to you.
Hello.
Francis is struck. I think Kitty set up that volume is low. I'll speak a little bit louder and hopefully that will help. So if I take you over to the website, we are totallybeads.co.uk, and we're going to click into the video tutorial. Hey, everyone said that's better. Yay, it's better. Yay. Okay, I'll stop shouting. They're probably like, it's too loud. Then I'm going to click into the video tutorial section, and I'm going to be really, really technical and clever, and I'm going to click into what we've called Andromeda. So here we are. I don't know if, can you see that? Should I close that one off? So we've got an amethyst, a carnelian, a gold obsidian, a green aventurine, a tiger's eye, and white onyx as well. I'm not going to talk to you about the gemstone properties today. You can just have a little look and see which colour you like the most. So in terms of the wire, I have changed it up. We've got some on like a beautiful gold colourway, and we've got some on a silver, but these kits are £4.99. So you're very welcome to multi-buy if you want to mix and match those colours, but it is a planet pendant and earring set, so you should be getting enough to make whichever you like. So if you didn't want to wear them as earrings, you've got 3 pendants there. So I'll show you really quickly. We've got the amethyst, and all I'm doing is just a little wrap loop and bringing that little wire around. It's really, really straightforward. I am using Kitty's tools today, a little bit of disclaimer, and although they're very wonderful, they're not mine, and you get used to using your own. So hopefully I'll show you how easy it is. Oh, thanks, Jen. She says this project looks fantastic, and ooh, Camille's liking the carnelian and the white. So you can see you've just got that beautifully large amethyst bead as the center of your planet, kind of made this kind of like little belt that goes around it, you know, like a satin ring. And then we've got, you can see the facet, absolutely beautiful on those clear quartz, but you can add all sorts you want to it. In terms of your dimensions, I'm using a lovely big large 12mm gemstone bead. I'm using the copper wire, which is colour plated, so in this case it's silver, and it's the 0.8, which is 20 gauge for anybody who works in those measurements. And then you've got your faceted round clear quartz, which is 6mm as well, just dangling from the bottom. So that is it as a pendant, and if you want to see how it might look as a pair of earrings, then you've got that picture there for you as well. So that one is the amethyst. They are really quick makes. Obviously you can take your time with it, you can do what you want, but I reckon you could probably get this done in what, 15 minutes maybe. We've got this beautiful one, which is the carnelian as well, and that's with champagne light goldy coloured wire. We've got the dark carnelian round bead and your clear crystal quartz in that one. So that again is your gorgeous pendant. I think these will be very popular if you do you know, like artisan markets or craft fairs or anything like that. No worries, Elaine, I hope you're well. So there are your earrings. So £4.99. It's going to make a pair of earrings and a pendant, which is, for a gemstone suite of jewellery, I think is a very, very good price. This one is your Andromeda in gold obsidian. So it's got that lovely kind of, it's black, it's your obsidian, but it does have a gold sheen to it. So I've put this one with the silver, your pendant and your earrings. And you can make them exactly the same in terms of your earrings. If you want to bring the loop round in the opposite way, so you're making them kind of mirror image, that's fairly easy to do. This one is your green aventurine. I think that looks so pretty against the gold. Again, you can see the facet there, really, really lovely. So I just pop it on a jump ring through that loop, and then I can either attach it onto my chain, or you don't have to have the jump ring if you want to just attach it onto a little pair of earrings that look like so. So that one is your green aventurine. And then we've also got for you the tiger's eye. That's absolutely beautiful. I think that might be my favourite. Really good for, you know, your courage and your strength. That's with the gold, looking very, very pretty. There, your earrings. So although you've got 12 12mm on your large gemstone in the center, it's not too heavy to wear. I think they, you know, they've got a nice weight to them, but as earrings they're not too heavy. And then lastly we have this one here, and you can adjust that that kind of, I don't know, is it an asteroid belt? I suppose it is, to whatever angle that you prefer, and you can make that as large or as you know, close into the planet as you like. So we've got this one here, and they are your earrings, and that one is your white onyx, which is very lovely. I don't often get to play with that. So you've got all those colour choices, your amethyst, carnelian, gold obsidian, green aventurine, your tiger's eye and your white onyx, all for £4.99, making a lovely set. So your earrings and your pendant is the pendant. You will have to add your chain to it, but you can see I've used snake chains on the silver, and I think it's kind of like like a kind of Figaro type link chain on the other, so it looks nice on any style you want. Right, let's see if I click this. Yay. So I've got a few out on the mat. I'm gonna do, I think I might do the carnelian. I'm going to use them with the gold wire, but it works exactly the same. Nina says she's been naughty and ordered more super duos for the Sophie baubles. Camille's liking the tiger eye too. Good morning to Birgit, who is in a rainy Germany. It's rainy here, which is just typical because I've got a train to catch. So yeah, it's been really warm and dry for most of the weekend. And as soon as I left Liverpool, it was absolutely glorious. Camille says you need blue, greens and whites for the earth one. You could use chrysocolla, I think would make a nice earth. I think a sodalite would probably use to make a nice one. You could have a little look. I suppose this is a bit like this reminds me of Jupiter for some reason. But if it's the reddish colour, then you could have Mars. If you wanted to, which would be really lovely, you could, you know, pick these out and you could make a full solar system if you wanted to. Mina says she'd love to try these. And Jan says, I've got my order from Totally Beads this morning. Thank you, TB team. They are speedy quick. Right, okay, so let's get making. So I'll pick one bead out for now. If we've got a little bit of time, I might do two. So I'm going to start off by straightening out my wire. I'm just straightening out with some nylon coated pliers, but you can do that through your fingers as well. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but I always think it's easier to start off with a nice straight piece of wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about 20 centimetres, which I think is about 8 inches, but I will double check that for you. And I'm going to just give that a little trim. Let's check. So 20 centimetres is, yeah, about 8 inches. Let's get into frame so I know where I'm doing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making a little wrap loop. And I'm going to do that about 4 centimetres up my wire, which is about 1.75 inches. So I'm going to just start to make my little loop there. So I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. I'm going to give it a little bend. And then if you want, you can use your bail step pliers or whatever you want if you want to make these loops, you know, perfectly the same either size. But I only really need a small one. I'm going to be attaching that either to an earring hook or I'm going to be attaching that onto a jump ring for my chain. So you could, if you wanted to make a large one, you could thread it directly onto your pendant chain if need be. So I've just created a little loop so it looks like so. I'm going to keep it in my round nose pliers just to give myself a little bit of purchase, and with another pair of pliers which are very long, I'm just going to start giving that a little wrap round. So I'm going to wrap that round about 3 times, bringing it across the front and round the back, and then I'm going to trim off any of the excess nice and close up to that loop. And then I'm going to tuck it in just to make sure that we don't have any little scratchy bits. So just going to give that, oh, I'm not in focus, I'm in shot, but it's a bit blurry there, isn't it? So I've just made that little wrap loop, nice and neat if you can see. Good morning, Anne, I hope you're well. So I've took 20 centimetres, did a wrap loop about 4 centimetres down, doesn't have to be there like that exact, just cut a little bit off. And then I'm going to slide on my chosen bead. So this is the larger bead within your kit. And I'm just going to slide that on to the end of the wire and up towards that loop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another wrap loop onto this end here. Good morning, Jackie. So again, I'm going to take my round nose pliers I'm going to put them in because I want to have a little bit of space above the bead so I can make that wrap. If I wanted to just turn a loop directly on the top, I'd be bending it right close to the bead, but I'm going to just move it up a little bit, and then that space should be enough to pop in my wraps. So I'm bending it over to like a horizontal point, like a 90-degree angle. I'm going to rearrange my pliers so I've got them at the top and below, and I'm going to bring that around, reposition my pliers and bring that all the way round. I can adjust and make sure that, you know, the loops are fairly the same and that it's sitting nice and even. I will do it with my tools. I'm always guilty of just doing it with my fingers to start off. So I'm just straightening that loop up. I give it a little tilt up slightly, just so when I bring that wire round, that wrap will be nice and close to the top of the bead. I'm just going to take the end of that wire when I turn it, because I'm going to re-straighten this out. Try and get those wraps nice and close. Now don't worry if you're not wrapping all the way down to the bead, because what we will do is we're going to push that bead up later and we're going to fix our wire in place here. So now I've got those little wrap loops, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to straighten out that wire again, just that little tail end, because as I turned it I didn't hold the end of the wire, I held the middle with my pliers. So I'm just going to straighten out any of those kinks, and then I'm just going to make sure that my wrap loop is sitting nicely on top. It's a little bit tilted at the moment, so all I'm going to do is just pop my pliers in again, so I've got this double-ended connection. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth it round with my finger, and I'm going to start to make this curl section. So it's going to come up from the back, it's going to go round kind of the front and the middle of what will be our planet and round towards the bottom. So the back of it will look like this and the front will look like that. So just have a play with it. I like to use like the inside of my finger to kind of create that kind of curved shape. You can hold it with your plier, but I'm not doing a really tight wrap. I want a little bit of space between the bead. I don't know if you can hear the doggo in the back. So I'm just bringing it round and I'm just going to play about with it and position it as I want. You've got loads of wire there, so you can make this as wide around the bead or as close to it as you want. But what I like to do is bring it round and then try and get it to kind of sit somewhat horizontally across the front of the bead, and then it's coming round towards the back again. So just have a little fiddle with that. That's the bit that, you know, you can take your time on. If you need to readjust it, you can do so. And then when you're happy with the placement of it, you're just going to kind of push it gently against the bead just to bring it round. And you can see where we had that little tiny bit of a space left when we've made those wraps, we can push that bead up and then you can secure that wire again with your tools or your fingers just around the bottom. Now the joy about using the 0.8 wire is it's nice and sturdy enough, but it is malleable to you know, play about with. If you feel like you've tightened it too much and you wanted a little bit more space, then all you need to do is just readjust that wrap at the bottom when you tighten it in. So let me just take a pair of pliers and then I can have a little fiddle with that afterwards. So I'm fairly happy with the positioning of that. So when I'm happy, I'm going to tighten that round kind of the neck of the loop. You only need to wrap it maybe once around, 1.5, and then I can cut off that excess wire and then tuck in, and then I'm just gonna have a little bit of a reconfiguration, so to speak, and reposition of that wrap. So I want to make sure that's tucked in, and then I can play about with the curl on the pendant. I've done this one quite tight towards the bead, but as I say, you can accentuate that if you want to make it stick far out. If you want to strengthen it up once you have created that, you can take a little pair of pliers, and nylon coated is good because it's not gonna tarnish your wire. But if you just kind of run along it a little bit and put a little bit of pressure on it, I mean, this has been in my bag and traveling along in my case, and you can see it's held the shape. So by just putting a little bit of kind of pressure on it, that will work harden the wire. So if you have made it where, you know, it goes quite far out and you want to just firm that up, then you can do. So I'm just going to make sure that that little end is fully tucked in. And have a little look and check you're happy with it. You can move it up with your fingers and give it a little squish. And then I'm just going to do the little wrapped bead at the bottom, and I'm going to do a wrap loop with that as well, but before I wrap it, I'm going to secure it on. If you wanted, you could just turn a loop and you could do you know, whatever you want with that, and just attach it on with a jump ring if you know you didn't really want to directly do a wrap loop on that bead. Camille's saying, did you find lots of goodies for us, Natalie? Maybe. Yeah, I did. We've got some lovely things coming up. So I'm going to take another length of my wire, and you can see we've been, you know, quite generous in terms of the measurements. You've got plenty of little bits that you're cutting off, so you can really, you know, go to town, so to speak, in terms of how much you want to use to accentuate that. So for the little wrapped bead with that gorgeous faceted crystal quartz, I'm just going to cut off about 10 centimeters. So I'll just measure that against my ruler, and 10 centimeters is about 4 inches. And what I'm going to do once I've cut that, again, try and keep your wire straight. I tend to straighten it while it's on my reel, really, but the straighter it is, the better. So I'm going to start about 2 centimeters in from the end of my wire end here, which is about 1 inch. Good morning, Emile. I hope you're well. Good morning, Venus Creations. How are you doing? She says, just taking a peek. Guess it's bead fair this week, and you're at Kitty's. No, I'm not going to the bead fair. We've got an Essex bead fair, and then in a couple of weeks there's beads up north as well, which is at Haydock Racecourse. No, I've just come down, and Laura came too, and we've just been busy planning. Okay, so I'm starting about 2 centimeters in, and I'm just going to do the same. I only need a small loop for this one, and it doesn't have to be the same size as, you know, these. You don't have to worry about that. So I'm bending it horizontally. I'm going to start to wrap that around the round nose pliers, and then before I wrap it, I'm going to attach it to my planet. So I'm going to give it a little flick up just to create a bit of space, and then I'm going to make sure I'm attaching it, which is going to be the front of my planet here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm just going to hold across that loop that I've just made, just to kind of, give myself a little bit of purchase. Again, you can lift it up slightly, that tail end, just so that wrap then becomes nice and close to the loop. Taking it round the back, across the front, back around the back and up around the front. You can cut off any excess, or if you haven't got that much, you can just give it a little tuck in. So I'm not putting too much pressure on this bit, just enough for me to kind of get in and tuck in that tail end. So you've now got something at this stage. Run your finger over it gently and just check that it's tucked down. Okay, so now I'm going to slide on my gorgeous little faceted quartz, and I'm going to slide that up towards the top of that loop, and then I'm just going to wrap around it to make this lovely little dangle. So you can see the wire comes out of the bottom of the bead, it goes around and forms a loop, and then I'm just bringing that wire in front of the drill hole and that little wire. So sliding it on. You can turn your loop as well if you need to. So if you want, this is going to sit at the side. So if you wanted, you could twist it, or I say you could attach it with a jump ring if you want, but that wire is going to sit kind of that way to hold it in place. So sliding my bead on, I'm going to bend the wire really closely to the bead, like so, and then I'm just going to bring it round around the bead just with my fingers. Is that clear? Around the top of the bead. And then as it comes to the bottom where it exits the drill hole here, it's going to go in front so you can't see that. It's just a little way of kind of encasing your bead all the way round. Good morning, Esther. I hope you're well. Do you know what's lovely about being on Kitty's screen? I get to see your pictures really big and really clear. On my laptop at home, you're like tiny little pixelated things. So I can see your lovely faces. So I just want to make sure that this is going to be facing forward. I think I've wrapped this to the side, but I can adjust it and give it a twist. So I've got that going around there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it around the kind of neck of that wrapped loop and then back across the front. So I'm just kind of holding it in place with my fingers, and then I'm going to make a little swirl. You don't have to, you could cut off there if you want to. I haven't done a little swirl on this one, but on some I have, so if you wanted to, you could add a little decorative swirl to it. And I think, well, we might as well, mightn't we? Why not? So first of all, I'm going to give a little trim. If you do a swirl, you're not going to need that much, so I'm just going to give it a little cut about there, and then I'm going to lay it down on my table and check that this bead is facing the right way, because what I've done is as I've connected it, I've put it on the back and not across the front of my gemstone. If that's the case, it's not the end of the world. You can give it a twist and get that to face forward. So all I'm doing is just pinching across the loop. So it will be sitting like so. And I'm just going to make a little swirly detail with that, so you don't have to. Kitty's got some nice round nose here. So I'm going to go right at the end, and I'm going to give that a little turn, and then just to make sure it's all turned, you can see that tiny little flat bit there where it first starts off. I'm just going to trim off a teeny tiny bit, pop my round nose back in, and then just start to curl it round. You don't have to add this. I'm quite happy with that. I might very gently just give that a little flattening towards the stone as well. So now it's ready to attach. You know, you can tweak it, you can make sure all your loops are facing the way you want them to be, and you can check that this can still be adjusted if you need to. You can take your pliers and you can give it a little push here and a little push here, and that will kind of flatten it out along the front. Again, if you've made a wider, larger swirl, that can be adjusted as well. So I tend to kind of grab the horizontal bit gently with my pliers, just so it sits across. I'm not even doing that in shot, am I? Sorry. So I would take my pliers and I'm just going to kind of give them a little bit of a tweak, just to make that sit across the front of the stone there, and then check everything sitting as I want it to. So hold it up, have a little look at the dangle, make sure it's positioned so when worn it's going to be sitting at the right angle. So you can just do that by twisting your loops and adjusting, and then you can add that on to your jump ring, and you can attach a chain through. You can make another one and you can attach it through a little ear wire. So all I would do to make the pendant is I'm just going to take my jump ring, 2 pairs of pliers, and open it out, slide it on through and close it up. Really straightforward and really, really pretty. Camille says very cute. Phoenix says it's great to catch alive. We're getting to the start of that Arctic flow that's been heading south. Got a shock when I went out with Meg and came back for actual jacket. Oh, you came back for your coat? Oh right. Yeah, it's drizzly here. Just typical. I feel like anytime I've gone anywhere, the weather's been lovely at home. So I will take you back onto the website very quickly. These are your colour choices today. We've got the amethyst, the carnelian, the gold obsidian, the green aventurine, the tiger's eye, and we've also got that very, very lovely white onyx there as well. They're all £4.99, and it gives you the pendant and enough to make the earrings as well. So you've got the little carnelian one there, which I've just demonstrated for you, and there's your earrings. I did add on a little extra twirly whirly onto the ones that I've done here on the live, but you can see you don't have to do that. This is your green aventurine one, which is on your gold. You just add it into your basket and make the most of something a little bit different. I have got a few bits and bobs, some make, shall we say, that are out of this world that I'm looking forward to doing with you soon. Jan says, thank you, Natalie, have a safe journey home. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with me today. A short but sweet one. I'm going to be back with you on Wednesday, which I'm very excited to be with you on Wednesday. I'm going to be making a bracelet with you on Wednesday, I think I'm going to be making a beautiful wire and gemstone bangle. So lots of wire and lots of gemstones for me this week, which is my happy place, isn't it? So if you come and Phoenix is asking, did you leave anything in the warehouse? I did. it's all in a box and it's getting sent up for me, so they've still got plenty, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. There's plenty. Have a little look at the website and have a little look at, you know, anything that you'd like to make with. They've got absolutely gorgeous stuff in at the moment, and that's what I love about being down there, because I'll go with ideas and plans, and I would say, you know, there's a big chunk of things I've put together which I didn't even know I wanted to do until I just felt really inspired looking at a particular bead or component. So I do head over to the website, have a little look at all the wonderful things that they've got in there. Lots of new products always being added, I think pretty much every week. So have a lovely week, everybody. I'm going to see if I can finish the live, but who knows? You might be sitting with me scratching my head for a little bit. Kitty! Oh, Kitty! Ooh, I didn't know I could do that. Buy your pendants. Look at the beauties. Kitty, how do I switch off? Finish. That might be the button, mightn't it? Let's try that one.